Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Joel here with as many reviews as possible, and today we're doing the first impression video of the Adidas CrazyPower TR. Alright guys, so these are Adidas's first attempt at a true functional fitness shoe, and since I posted about them, they have been causing all sorts of hype all over the internet. This is probably, in my opinion, overtaken the Metcon 3s as far as hype has gone. Adidas kind of just dropped this out of nowhere, and no one saw it coming. I definitely didn't see it coming, and I had to get my hands on it, even if it meant ordering a larger women's size, because the men's size does not come out, or the men model does not come out until mid-January. Now, I feel like the weirdest thing about the CrazyPowers is that the men's and the women's shoe is completely different in design for the most part. I think the outsole remains the same, but otherwise the men's does not have the TPU heel clip right here for whatever reason. The upper is a little bit different on the men's model. I don't think the stripes are right here. The shell of the upper is fairly the same. I think it's both TPU on both models. It still has this kind of like fly wire lacing system. You have their traction system for the outsole, but it is different as far as the pattern goes on the men's model than the women's model. So something that's different than a lot of Adidas shoes is the fact that the CrazyPowers are a lot wider than what you'd find on a normal Adidas shoe. Typically, for me personally, Adidas shoes fit super duper narrow, and half the time I have to size up. This, like I said, is a women's 11, which should be a men's 10. Now, the fit of the women's 11 is actually slightly large, and I just sized up just in case, but I can imagine these shoes running true to size, so if I were to do it again, and I probably will just go ahead and exchange these for a men's 9.5 or a women's 10.5. Now, the outsole on the CrazyPowers provides excellent traction. I think that's the best feature of this shoe. There's a lot of traction and there's a lot of lateral stability. The edges are very sharp. They don't kind of roll outwards. There's actually kind of a lip right here to prevent any kind of rollover. Now, I tested these for rope climbs, and the outsole did a really good job at gripping the rope. Not to mention, there's this ribbing on the insole of the shoe, or the inner part of the shoe, and that is there, I think, to catch the rope. Then you have this material right here on the instep, and this right here on the outside of the shoe. And that is, in my, well, I think that's there to protect against rope climbs, or rope burn, rope abrasion, because that is a slightly more abrasive material right there. Now, of course, you have the TPU heel counter, and I'm not going to say that this is a clip because it doesn't really protrude very much, so that's probably not going to help you out for handstand push-ups. Though when I did handstand push-ups with these, it felt pretty decent. I slid up the wall pretty well, and I have nothing to complain about there. Now, the drop on this shoe is a 4mm drop, and the insole is it's actually glued in there, so I'm not even bothered taking it out, but it says it's 3mm, so a 3mm footbed. Now, as far as comfort goes, these are fairly comfortable shoes, and my initial impressions, I have to say that these are not the stiffest shoes. They're fairly flexible, though there are a few hot spots in the upper, and that's kind of weird. There's like one right here, and they're different on both shoes, so both kind of affect me a little bit differently. On the right shoe, I kind of get this little rubbing right here, and on the left shoe, it rubs right here. So it's kind of weird in that sense. But otherwise, the shoes are fairly flexible. They're not as stiff as they look. Another thing that strikes me as weird with the CrazyPowers is that the tongue is pretty bad. It kind of just bunches up, and that's, I think, in my opinion, the worst part of the shoe. Stability wise, I haven't done a whole lot with these shoes. I did one workout, and then I did some coaching. We did pistols today, and I was able to do pistols in the shoes, so that's good. The workout was shoulder overheads, rowing, and toes to bar, so there's not too much going on that would really change the performance from the shoe in that workout other than the shoulder overhead. And power delivery to me seemed pretty decent. These are not as stiff as the Nike Metcon, so power delivery is not as good. There's a bit of cushion in them, but not so much that I would say that these couldn't be solid training shoes. They're a little bit softer than Nanos. I would say that these, as far as feel goes, are probably closest to Nano 4.0s, and I know a lot of people out there like Nano 4.0s because there was a bit of cushioning. They were a little bit more forgiving on your feet than the rest of the Nano series. So I think a lot of people that like the Nano 4.0s are going to gravitate towards the CrazyPowers. Now, like I said, these are the women's shoes, and they come in the white and the black colorway. The white looks freaking awesome in real life. It's like a cool white, it's not warm, and it just looks really good. The lines are very good. I don't know what's going on with this part on the bottom, but everything on the shoe kind of looks well thought out, especially the upper. I kind of like that this is that kind of pebbled pattern on the upper, and it's not uniform, but to each their own. Some people might not like that, but I think it's a great look. I'm going to go a little bit harder on these shoes than I normally would brand new shoes because I got them from Roadrunner Sports, which you can currently get them from now, but only in the white women's colorway. The men's are on pre-sale, but you can get the women's black colorway on Adidas.com. Remember that the women's shoe and the men's shoe are different. They look different, so I'm assuming they used a different last between the two shoes because it is women's and men's shoes. But if you like this look, it is the women's shoe. Go to my Instagram if you want to see views of the men's shoe. But otherwise, guys, if you guys have any questions about the CrazyPower TR, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.